Sorry, I was just adjusting my electric fan. But with regards to this, I think one of my friends, Fine Edge Games. I'm going to share his link. I'm going to share his channel on the description box. Shared me a link about Nintendo saying that as the um, graphics, frames per second gets more powerful, the more expensive the console will be. It's like it's a normal trend within any sectors of technology or industry, because as the years goes on, we have we have quantum leaps in technology, we have some improvements, and as the years goes on, the smaller that it is, the more powerful it gets, thanks to nanotechnology. But with regards to the topic that consoles getting powerful and it gets more expensive, that is where we're going to have a baseline of it. Notice the trend of the video game industry for the past 3 generations. Right now, we have the PS4 that is worth $400. We have the original Xbox One. I mean, the before the Kinect, the non-Kinect Xbox One, $600, and we have the Nintendo Wii U, which is from 350 down to 250 or 275. Correct me if I'm wrong with that. And people are bragging over the PS4. PS4 is the most powerful console ever. And in short, many people are dubbing it as the glorified PC in the box. And with that being said, what is going to be the future? Of course, it's going to get more powerful. There's going to be a certain point at where they're going to reach 4K, 4K graphics. 4K as in this resolution times this resolution, which is actually going to be a great thing. But the thing is, if that's going to be the case, it's going to get more expensive, and it will reach to that tipping point in that valley, in which there are some consumers, the average Joes, who will not afford these anymore, because gaming from that point on have now transformed into a luxury from being a leisure. We have consoles back in the day that cost what, $150. Now we have 400 and 600, or down to 500, because the attachment of Kinect. And the thing is, if it gets more powerful, it's going to get more expensive. And not to mention, there are going to be accessories like the PS Morpheus and the Oculus Rift. And in order for us to at least, have to an enhanced experience, we're going to buy these accessories. Hell, right now we already have, like, accessories like the nunchuck controllers for the Wii U, for the Wii, back in the first gen, that back in last gen. Also, the wireless controllers from the PS3 and the PS4. Also with Xbox 360 and Xbox Kinect. Those were accessories back then. But with PS Morpheus and Oculus Rift, the PS Morpheus is projected to have a price of 200, 300 to maybe $400. Oculus Rift is also the same. And with that new technology presents new problems for game developers. And with that, it's going to get more expensive from the then on to develop games, because you're going to develop a new engine for it. And not to mention, with the PS Morpheus, it's going to be a staple in the video game industry. The VR technology. It's going to, like, present a major problem for a gamer like me. I don't have any consoles right now. I don't have any current gen or past gen, because third world problems. But if I ever can afford that, for example, I'm going to buy a PS3 or a PS4, then I know that there's a good game that is for that console. But the problem is, I don't have the PS Morpheus. I don't have the VR accessory. That is going to be like, oh god. It's just, I think to the certain point that it became a luxury, many people are going to turn it off. I'm not saying that we should turn on, VR technology, if it's going to be the next thing in gaming, it's good, because I know that there is certain limitation in technology that is that is going to be like exhausted out of the technology, within within the within a certain time. For example, we graduated in World War II with piston engines and moved on because we already reached that tipping point that we need to, because we already reached that limit in the piston engine era. So we moved on to the jet engines. Same thing here. It's not there's a certain point that graphics GPUs, of course processors, have a certain point that they can only reach this maximum potential. Now we need that certain new technology to move forward. And I'm aware that polygon there's I'm aware, not necessarily I'm a tech geek, but there's going to be a certain point that polygons within a console cannot process it anymore. So we need an alternative, which is VR. I certainly agree with that, but the problem is VR right now is expensive. $300 to $400. That's still expensive. If you have to buy it together with the PS4, that's already $700. If you do that with Oculus Rift, not to mention that you have to need, for example, you're going to build like a $700 PC with Oculus Rift. You're going to have like $900 or $1,000 to play games. It's like, well, I certainly have to be compared to this, but okay, bash me for it, but it's going to be like golf, that you need to buy a certain, you need to buy a certain club in order for you to play the game. I'm not against it, but the thing is, I realize that it's expensive. It's really expensive. And an average gamer, an average person who enjoys games, will tend to think twice before purchasing it, even though that he's loyal. That is part of that is why consumerism still goes on right now, because things are expensive. Things are affordable, but when things gets expensive, well, that is where people were going to draw the line. You just have to think about it. I know that technology cannot be they cannot be transformed into a cheap one Fortnite, but they have to at least consider the consumers. Whatever console that you are. Sorry, PC Master Race, but it's just the consoles here. Talking about the consoles, and this is consoles are like the cheap way to play games, and there are many great titles. Heck, I even grew up playing with consoles, and I don't and I am really scared. I'm really afraid that there's going to be a certain point that people cannot afford it anymore. They're going to turn off. They're going to move on, and maybe I'm really scared of this. That the video game industry will have a standoff because of this. That's just my opinion. Bash me for it, whatever. I just want to share this to you. Anyway, and remember, you know what? If I want to play virtual reality, maybe in 2 years, 20 years, somewhere in 20 years, that'll be fun. See you later.